Hello, everyone. How are you today, everybody? I'm all excited because we talk about inflammation today, which is basically everything that we do. I admit more people. It's either we create inflammation or our behavior is anti-inflammatory, and it can be many things, as you will learn today. Good morning. Excellent. So good morning in America, good afternoon, good evening in Australia, and good afternoon in Europe. I guess we are from everywhere here. And let's see if other people will come. I will just pin this. Okay. Right. So today I'm really excited because if you see here, I have a lot of food prepared because we're talking about inflammation. And it's a big topic. I will just pick the most important aspect that I think that it will be handy for you to know rosacea, to have rosacea, and to know about it, how to really manage and how to really create anti-inflammatory lifestyle. So that's the purpose of today. Before we dive into this, I'd just like to ask a few questions. So yesterday, someone of you asked me that you think someone using alternative medicine. So basically, alternative medicine it's good, same like modern medicine. It's just that it's less toxic because if we use it for anything like antibiotics and instead of using herbs, it's less toxic, but it's the same mindset because we are not using the symptom as an entry point into the deeper inquiry, into the deeper conversation with our body. That's what we were talking about yesterday. And it's something really I just want to repeat it again and again, because you have to start communicating with the body, because the body, this is your face is its cry for help. And whatever we do, we either create more health or we create more symptoms, kind of more on disease side of things. So yes, symptom treatment is good. I sometimes prescribe antibiotics, of course, like many other doctors. There is nothing wrong with that. But if here I create this workshop to really to have and go into the deeper engagement with the body, because I know that science says that this can work, and I know from my story and other clients that this is the only way if we really want to any disease, either it's diabetes or if it's rosacea or if it's anything else that like high blood pressure, any chronic disease. If it's chronic disease, we always have to ask like what is behind these symptoms, and we need a roadmap that can be alongside it with the traditional medicine, because traditional medicine really can help us tremendously. Like if you break your leg, you go to the orthopedist, right? But this is something that really I want to encourage you to look and see what it is in life that really doesn't suit you, because I'm sure you find something, and really have the courage to a little bit day by day, little by little, to really just see what you can do. And because this will lead you to really much more happy place. As I told you yesterday, it's like for me, rosacea was a really gift that I received. And I was in denial sometimes, basically 2 years, because I was using all the, things that doesn't help. I was actually, laser can be helpful. They can really help your skin, but it will not heal. It will not, if you have, sometimes we need to have antibiotics. Sometimes we have to have drugs for parasites, especially if you have pristine diet, you don't have cravings, you having 30 or 50 vegetables a week, and you are not having any bad oils, and you still have rosacea and still have really symptoms, then I would definitely suggest go to see some doctor and have a test for parasites, because it's something going on. But it can be anything else as well. That's why I just talk this week general knowledge that I want to give you, because these nuances, then it's really so personalized. It can be very different for each of you. Like for me, it was insulin resistance, it was the mindset, it was the sleep, it was the stress, basically everything. I had to go on every of this aspect in my life and really see what is there, what I can improve, and learn from it, really, because all it is are the lessons. Another question that was that about, the question was about your interest about the neurovascular rosacea. So I will talk about this in today's, but I just want to tell you today that the nervous system, that's why when I run the programs, the long-term programs, we always meditate once a week. So I teach people how to meditate, how they can find themselves, so they can then live the meditative life, really, as I call it, because that's what we want. We first, it's like muscles. If you go to the gym and you want to get muscles, you have to put some work into it. If you want to learn new language, you have to practice it to really be able to speak. The same is with this, taking care of your body. You have to master it. You have to know all these little nuances. As I told you yesterday, with the alcohol, like before I didn't know that beer is such a trigger for me, and now it's like, okay, I have a little bit, I know how much I can have, a little glass, and then I stop, because it's not worth it for me. And this is the mastery that you will get when you will spend time and really put it into daily practice. That's what it is. And really put intention into it, because your value basically will be health. We have plenty of values, like your career, all these things, social networking, friendships, all that. And the health is somewhere like on the values for many people. And so if you have this a symptom that can really guide you for maybe better days in the future, I would grab it and really learn from it what it's showing you. And sometimes the social aspect of things, it's just so strong. What I mean is by it. So I had there was some study done, and they were helping people from some Asian country. I'm not sure which one, but they have very like social and cultural tradition that they drink tea and biscuit. But it was not in England. They drink tea with sugar and biscuit every single day, and they have these meetings, and they just don't want to really give it up, even if they will develop diabetes, because the value for them, the social connection, the friendships, were more than the health. And so that's basically where I'm going, that if you change your values, and you put the health and into the really in the front, then you will succeed, because you will put intention into this and the focus. And so as I said, I will talk about the nervous system and rosacea later today, but I just want to tell you today that the nervous system regulates the blood flow in the skin using the energy, the ATP, to really prompt and dilate the blood vessels if they were triggered. So I just mentioned triggers that were very mild, that are not that can accumulate. So if you have biscuit or sugary bar or some lollipop, you will not have immediate reaction. That's why these triggers that I was talking yesterday, they really accumulative, and they can be hidden triggers for many years sometimes before we have any symptoms. And so if you have more like sunlight, alcohol, emotional stress, this goes fast. And so that can as well create the flushing and this type of things. But as I said, I will talk about more about this in the next few days. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of recap yesterday that it's really important to see the symptom as a gift, because sometimes we have this gift. Sometimes we can be conscious without this, but very often it's just we will get something to just wake up, like it was in my case. And many you find maybe as well that you learn something from this, and that leads me to another point, that we can complain all our life, but it will, or we can choose opportunity to grow. And here I want to show you that if you choose, if you choose to grow, if you put intention there, and you support this process, and you honor it, and you really stop and surrender with a gratitude and say thank you, because it's really a miracle. That's what we're doing, that we are alive, and that our heart is beating. I think it's amazing. Instead of complaining our life, because we then creating on a physical level really all these bad molecules that will not help us in healing process. And as I told you, the healing must happen in all levels, on the spiritual, on the mental, and emotional, and the physical, and it all goes together. And the thing, what is interesting is that it goes, it goes from, so if you have emotional stress, if you have some, a spiritual experience, it will influence your physiology, your physical body. But if you have a virus or some disease, it will not go up. So it goes just from top down. And very often we have trauma in the childhood, and especially when someone here is needs to lose weight and is unable to do that, very often it's something that we have to first unlock from our past, that it will allow us to really do the work, because it's so complex. And so this is just invitation to really just pause, because we have this 60,000 thoughts during the day, and we have either we sleep, or we conscious like now, or we are sleep conscious, or what is the other state that we are and we have this thoughts, and we never kind of can tap into this space when we pause, and there is a silence between these 60,000 thoughts, we suddenly can tap into it and say, okay, so what is showing me? And you will have the answers. Like, that's why the meditation, it's so amazing, because people stop, and people can really tap into these places where you normally don't have this access to the wisdom of the body wants to tell you. That's why there's a method called focusing. Actually, I learned it in Czech Republic, and it's amazing, because you basically tapping into this body wisdom, which we normally are not trained to do, and the body is always right. There are studies showing that. So one more study, and then we go into inflammation, but it's so much that I want to share with you. So there was one study done, and people were playing cards, and they mixed the cards they were like, when you have from 1 till so I don't know how many cards is there, but they took part of the cards away, so you never get like maybe numbers 8 or 7, 6, 8, I don't know which numbers. Basically, they took parts of the card away, and people were playing, and they only after several minutes they said something is wrong with these cards. But they have this intuition, that they have these thoughts like, oh, this is not right, these cards are not right, and they didn't say anything, and they will keep playing. So that you have this moment when you say, I knew it. This is the thing that I'm talking about. And now the science is growing about this. They're saying that our gut is a second brain, and we have the body wisdom is always kind of can show us the way. And that's why when we have a symptom, like we have rosacea, this is amazing opportunity to grow and really to ask your body what it needs instead of complaining. And really, so I just want to encourage you that you maybe you can try doing that. But today we will shift from this. This was yesterday, and the triggers obviously are big. That's why we're always doing the elimination diet, because it's on physical level. We have to take out all the triggers, all the things that create inflammation. And today I would like to just mention the food, what to eat and what not to eat in a general view. But one more thing I want to I have here as well a note that Einstein said once that there are 2 ways to live your life. One is as if nothing is miracle, and the other is if everything is miracle. And so this is the invitation to again love your skin, love everything that you have, because is your only human experience. and more we complain, more we cannot look at the mirror, to the picture, more we are kind of in this negative space. And so just, you know, there is one author, actually, Mel Robbins, and she does this high five. And I think it's so simple, but if you can high five yourself every morning in front of the mirror, this will be like a great example how to really kind of starting to embracing yourself and love your skin, even if it's red or whatever. So that's my other invitation. So that's what I think it will be lovely, because you will get there if you put intention there. And that's what I want to really get the message, that everything that we do, if we focus on it and if you put intention, we succeed. And so you will succeed as well with this, because you will suddenly know what to do, because nobody knows your body better than you. And me, trust me, I know what I'm talking about, because as a medical school, we were taught that I know your body better than yourself. And it worked well for me. I was like, okay, and people give me this you know, this responsibility that I can help them, but we really can't help anyone. You have to help yourself. And this is where the magic is, where we take a responsibility for our own life and whatever is happening to us. And of course, sometimes we need this treatment and we need these modalities. I'm not anti-medicine, and I love to you know, sometimes prescribe if it's necessary. But what I want to tell you again, that it is in your hand. It is in your hand. So just be brave and just do the first baby step. You know, if it's something that many of you said that you can't look at the mirror, do the high five. Like, okay, just it's for now. You didn't have red face before, so it can, at some point, you can heal, and maybe you will get your face back. But it needs love. And I really trust me, I know, because I was there. I was looking in the mirror, so, oh my gosh, how my husband can look at me like that, like I look horrible. But it was just cry for help, because I was just so numb and so in denial and not listening at all. So I think that's, I hope you get what I want to say. So inflammation is so complex. And inflammation, I'm sure you heard a lot about inflammation in general. So I just want to pick things that really will be handy. Basically, with inflammation, in our case, because very often we are 30 plus, it can be as well, as we call inflammaging. But I want to tell you today more about inflammation, because inflammaging is a bit different, because it's basically with age. We can kind of, so it's a chicken and egg a little bit. But with good news is that with active lifestyle, we can reduce the inflammation together with inflammaging, and really we can do so many things. Just you can start doing today. You don't need to, you know, wait for another next doctor appointment, because everything what you need to do, it's ready for you, because you just have to change few little things to improve your lifestyle. So you will create more molecules in the body that will be anti-inflammatory instead of inflammatory. Many things plays a role. So gut microbiome plays a huge role. I will talk about gut microbiome tomorrow, but there are some new hypotheses that you know, the inflammation really, if we are inflamed, we are the gut microbiota change to more inflammatory. And that as well then support growth of this bad gut bugs. And then we can find this in the blood. So the typical example, if you go to some functional medicine doctor, you can get a test. There is Genova. I will start doing this now in the UK. So anybody who is in UK, in a few weeks, I will be able to do this. It's Genova test, and it costs a few hundreds, and you will have a rundown of all these microbes. And as well, if you have leaky gut, this is someone of you asked me how you find out if you have leaky gut. You have to do testing, and obviously, as the technicality of it is improving more and more, we will have more nuances and more details. But now, so I tested, of course, I didn't test it when I had rosacea. I'm sure I was much more leaky. I still have a little bit of leaky gut, but it's okay because it doesn't really interfere anymore with my skin. So I will definitely have predisposition to have the gut issues, because, as you know, many rosacea patients have IBS or IBD, as I mentioned yesterday, or SIBO even. And really the symptomatology in gastrointestinal tract is big, and we know that it's connected with the skin. I will talk about the gut-skin connection, and so it's no question about it. We know that you eat food, it goes to your stomach, and then if you have leaky gut, it will basically go to your bloodstream, and that because those molecules doesn't belong to the bloodstream because they are too big. They are part of, I will talk about it tomorrow, but just that you have idea how does it work. And these molecules that doesn't belong to the blood will create immune reaction. That's why very often people saying that the rosacea patient have altered immune system. Yeah, because from all these nuances in the blood that of these particles that should not be there, and we create inflammation that way. And then where the blood goes, everywhere to the skin as well. So absolutely does matter what you eat. And if dermatologists tell you that it doesn't matter, I think that those doesn't exist anymore. I think all the dermatologists are aware now that diet play a really huge role in this condition. And but we have to go deeper because we have to do things that can really improve our gut bugs, the gut microbiome. I'll talk about tomorrow. And gut lining. Gut lining is the lining. When I showed you yesterday, these cells, they kind of link together, and nothing can separate them, just a little bit. But if they stay open like this, everything that we eat, all these things goes into the blood, and that's why we have this reaction. Sometimes I'm sure some of you will have immediate reaction because it just go fast. Sometimes it's delayed. It's just so it's so complex. But gut health is absolutely area that we have to all start. And so that's something that it's fueling the inflammation in a really big way. And as I said, I will talk about gut health tomorrow in more detail. Second thing is that I want to mention that really is fueling the inflammation is visceral obesity. I told you my story. I was never obese, but I had this stomach and I had the visceral obesity. So I created insulin resistance just from this belly that I was carrying, because I was eating chocolate and nothing else. Use like calorie in, calorie out. Even I don't like to count calories. It's outdated. We know that doesn't work because calorie is not the same as a calorie. The calorie that is in the, I show you, it's in the cucumber, and calorie is in, if it's same, it will create completely different chemical reaction and physiology. You will have different physiology from the cucumber and different from the biscuit. Especially this one is full of gluten, of course. This is something kids had, so I have to be prepared here. So the visceral obesity is problematic because these fat cells, that's why we have to as well work on this also, because these fat cells, they are first of all, they will create cravings. So that's why it's like vicious cycle. If you have this belly fat, you will have cravings all the time because these fat cells are craving these. It will create, hormonal disbalance, and this will really modulate the inflammation in the wrong direction. There are hormones, not only insulin, but those are leptin and ghrelin that are really influencing our satiety. So we will, if these, we call it adipocytes, if they are it's so many fat cells, it can be really pro-inflammatory. And maybe from COVID, the cytokines. So this is same thing, creates the visceral obesity creates as well cytokines, which that if you have cytokines, it's not good. It's pro-inflammatory. And so it's definitely that's what I started it with. Of course, that's what the first thing I did. I told you on the beach, the sugar caused inflammation. I said, oh wow, really? I didn't even think that my thoughts can be a crucial key in this journey. I didn't think that far. That time I only thought about the sugar. And it can be some story for you, which I think for me was the biggest driver. And I think for many people that I help, the insulin resistance was a big driver as well. But sometimes, as I said, some of you might be lucky. It can be just you put cilantro and suddenly voila, you have new skin. So that's good if it's just local, because sometimes we can have just this balance because we have all microbes on our skin. That's why sometimes you ask me, actually one of you asked me yesterday what I use for the soap. Well, I don't use any soap. I just wash my face with water because I'm trying to use as less chemicals as possible. So because I want the microbiome on my skin. And if I would be in New York, which sometimes I was in New York, I would put some layers of I would put hydration and then I put some foundation. So it's like with the SPF or something. But if you don't live in city that it's really dusty, and don't put anything on your face, just hydration, something that has really very small amount of chemicals. I had interview with the lady on Instagram I told you yesterday about the new products. Have a look on my site, and I bought her products. I didn't try it yet, but I'm really intrigued because she is a rosacea patient as well, and she developed line because her husband is a chemical engineer, and so that's a really lovely story. And she opened a business, so it's something that I really like to try. If it's suitable for me, I will tell you. But yeah, as less, I know it's not for today this talk, but I just want to mention that as less as you can use, the better. So because we know that the toxic burden of these chemicals is huge, I would definitely never use soap that has the sulfates and stuff like that. Some of you ask me about the other soaps. I don't know. I'm not sure, because I really you have to try. It's try and error, because this is the misleading information that I want to again tell you, that it's so personalized that someone can be swearing that it's really amazing, that everybody should be using, and you try it on and you get red face. Same with turmeric and aloe vera. I love aloe vera, but I know some of you, I don't use it anymore. But when I was red, it was so astringent that really heal my skin. I use turmeric paste. So I put a little bit of turmeric on my hand, a little bit of water, and then I put it on the lesions where it was really red. And I could see overnight it just close up completely. So this is something like so individual. So you have to, unfortunately, this is something that we spend a lot of money and trial and error. I see what the questions you have. Yeah, so that is something about the soap that someone actually asked you. What do you about soap or cream to treat Demodex mites? Yeah, as I said, excellent. You have to try. I have many people that try Solantra, and some people love it, some people don't like it. So again, and I had one guy that really he just used it for a little bit and it was gone. So it was obviously for him, it was only questioned local, but usually it's not the case. What do you think about Chinese medicine and concept address the dysregulation body related to rosacea? Yes, so absolutely. As I said, I'm not expert on Chinese medicine, but anything that has a concept that we put things to balance, I would say yes. But again, I'm not the type of person, even I am pro some supplementing, some vitamins. I definitely take myself some vitamins, but I'm not I would not use it as a first modality. As I said, we always have to look like what is out of balance that creating this symptom as a first. And then these nuances, as I will talk today, and I will talk next sessions, are basically we want always to put body into balance. If there is, so again, if you have acupuncture for, pain and ache, it can help. But if you are somehow if you are working on symptomatology against the pain, Sometimes we can release some of these pathways, but usually we have to look for the root cause, like why you have this pain. And that's basically why I'm doing functional medicine, because we are looking always for root cause. And you know that in functional medicine, on the first presentation when I was studying it, there was a picture of a hole, and there was a tap of running water in the hole somewhere. And people in the other hole, they were cleaning the flat on the floor with the mop. And nobody, like, this is classic medicine. We don't look like, where is the tap? We have to close the tap and then we can clean the flat. And we just keep cleaning the flat, but we not closing the tap. So that's if that's kind of simplistically explain what it is. We can put the creams, we can put things, but why is my face red? What is it that I'm doing that create this redness? And it can be, as I said, different for many of you. Each of you can be different. Tea tree sauce might help. Yeah, tea tree is the one that using this lady that she developed the creams. I never tried tea tree, so I'm intrigued to try it. For me, I really worked only with. I was really happy with aloe vera and the turmeric. And I was so happy because when I used to live in Europe, I was buying this aloe vera leaf for like 30 euros, and we moved to US in New Jersey, and the aloe vera leaf was everywhere in the supermarket for $1 or $1.50. I was in heaven because I said, oh, wow, this is great. I can carry on using it. So that was great. Okay, so back to inflammation. If you have any questions, I will have a look. I see there's no more questions. Excellent. So inflammation is something that we all have to look, because I'm sure that every one of you will have some aspect of really uncovering some type of inflammation. It can be from toxic burden, or from the gut microbiome, or it can be from eating like too much of trans fat and too much of sugar, too much of gluten. Too much of the of the good things. And so and by the way, sugar is, I don't need to talk about it. We know that it suppresses immune system. We know that a high sugar intakes leads to a nutrient deficiency, risk of cavities, excellent aging process. So this is not talk for that, but if anybody is interested, as I mentioned yesterday, this is something that I do as well. So if you need help with that, I'm happy to help. But and definitely sugary diet will definitely cause inflammation. Like, this is no question. We know that it's not only that it will create a rosacea, but it will really create eventually, and at some point, if you don't stop now, it will create other diseases like metabolic syndrome, heart disease, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and many cancers. We know that this is really it's a threat, because a human like for humans, because when we I'm not talking about have a cookie once in a while. I'm talking about this. Oopsie. I'm talking about this having every day. I don't want to use a brand, doesn't matter what it is. Basically, this cookies, like this, that it's like processed, you don't know what's in it. You do, because it's like, this one has flour, palm oil, my gosh, it's horrible, dried powdered cheddar, it's just, and so many sugar, of course, maltodextrin, vegetable oils. It's like, ugh, nothing. Like, we have to, what's better? To have this is better. Even it's sweet, and it will spike a little bit of your sugar. So whoever has pre-diabetes, you have to be careful. But if you have 5 of these, 5 pieces, it will be fine. It will be better. You will be better off. Another one's this. Everybody's eating it. I remember kids in school, they all have had this golden fish or goldfish. It's in the US. It's so bad. It's bad for the children's teeth. It's bad for you, because you will, if you have bad oral health, your cardiovascular system is affected. And we know that a cardiovascular system must be in check, because this rosacea is a vascular issue. So we want to be fit on that level as well. So you see how it's all connected. And so I'm not talking about inflammation, that it's something that when you cut your, by accident, your hand, and it's like we create inflammation that actually save our life. I'm talking about this low grade low-grade inflammation that we can express in the body, like a pain. This can be like we are fatigued, or we have insomnia. Sometimes it's as well mental, so we can have depression, we can have anxiety, we can have mood disorders, or even in gastrointestinal tract. We know that the sign of symptoms of inflammation can be as well diarrhea, acid reflux, or constipation. And of course, weight gain. I told you about the visceral fat, the fat that sits among the organs. It's not the fat that you have under your skin. That's something. And then as well, frequent infections. If your immune system is not as strong, and you have constant infections, and you have to treat it, and then it's not ideal, and really create inflammation in the long run. So there are a few things that we can do, but the only thing that we cannot influence is we can influence obesity. We can really work on losing weight, even if it can be hard. But as I said, if we put intention and we put a roadmap and do the work, we can achieve it. We can choose to eat better diets. We can choose to stop smoking. We can choose to go to bed earlier. Even we all know that we need 8 hours sleep for a majority of people, but we don't do it. We have too much to-do list, so we're completely ignoring what the body needs. And so only thing that we can really we cannot influence, that can really promote the low level inflammation, is our age. Our age is only thing that we cannot do nothing about when it comes to inflammation, because we know that as we go older, we have more tendency to create this inflammaging. And as majority, I don't know what age is this group, but I would believe that from chatting with you, it's 30 plus in most of the cases. That's something that we cannot influence, but as you may imagine, that as we go older, these cumulative processes that we were abusing the body for many years. We have having the chips for lunch. We are having the crisps or chips, chips and fries. Yeah, chips for lunch with some sandwich, and then fries in the evening. And it's all using the bad oils that I told you yesterday, how it's so bad for our health. The oils are something that I think we all should check the omega-3 omega-6 ratio. If you Google it, I'm sure you can, in your own country, you can really find a test they will send you the test home. You test, they probably either, it may be prick, and you will just prick your finger a little bit, take a little bit of blood, and then you send it back, and they will send you the result. I'm sure of it that if you Google that, it will come up. It's something that I would definitely check, because every time I will check it in my practice, I usually have this really a discrepancy, too much of omega-6 and not enough omega-3. Because not every one of us live in a coastal areas when we are exposed to eating seaweed and eating fatty fish that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and so many of us, and we eat a lot of fast food. Like majority of people are not metabolically healthy. In the US, it's 88% of people are not metabolically healthy, which is a big number. So that was me too. Before I did some work on myself, I would be in that group as well. And so it's something that I will always encourage you. If you can test. Otherwise, you can do all these without testing, without spending any money. Is what I'm trying to give you, just a little bit of knowledge, because we can only that much we can do in this 5 hours, right? So insulin resistance is another one that I want to tell you, because that's really huge risk for the chronic inflammation. And what is insulin resistance? Maybe you heard it left and right, but I just want to mention it to you again, because it's really important that you work on that. I had a glass here. I don't have it here. I want to show you something, but basically insulin, insulin, it's a hormone that regulates the glucose level in the blood. And when we eating constantly all these food, this is sugar too, actually, all this processed food, either if it's chips, fries, hamburgers, popcorn, these crackers and all these things, we always use insulin to put the glucose down from the blood, because high glucose in the blood is toxic. High sugar in the blood is toxic. We don't want to have high sugar, because it will really be so bad for you. That's why we have insulin, and the insulin will suddenly, the pancreas will produce insulin. The insulin will flood everywhere in the blood and take the sugar away from the bloodstream to the organs, take it to the muscles and to the liver and to the fat. That's why we call insulin as a fat storing hormone. So that's why it's very difficult for diabetic patients who are on insulin lose weight, because if they're using the insulin, and with this, you know now that it's fat storing hormone, it's very difficult to lose weight. And so this insulin, luckily we have it. Our body is so smart. Thank for it every single day when you wake up. I do that every day, seriously, because I'm just so grateful that we can have this experience and we can have this body that really is functioning well. Well, it does for you too, because we are alive, right? So always thank you and live with this attitude of gratitude. It will be so healing for the body. Just this little thing. Just pause and say thank you. Always helps. And so when we have this processed food, majority of it is really, it's a mix of sugar, some flour and fat. So any processed food that you have, you are definitely going on this route to insulin resistance, which is so inflammatory. Because every time we have high insulin, we will have a tendency to have high inflammation in the body. That's why it's so important to have balanced diet. I will talk about it in a minute. But back to insulin. So when we have this insulin high, we will take it will help us to take the sugar away from the bloodstream. But that's why I told you yesterday that our body is so amazing that we can go many years, decades, unrecognized that we are pre-diabetic, because the insulin will always push the sugar down to the levels that we check with the doctors. All your sugars are fine, and we go home. But they never check the insulin, because if the insulin is really high, above 10, then we know that we already have insulin resistance, because we at some point will be so much, we will be producing so much insulin that the cells will become numb, and this is they will not react anymore, and then this is where we have even more sugar. And this is where people say in the practice, a doctor will say to you, okay, you have pre-diabetes. And this is when, you know, you have soda, you have juices, you have white bread, chips, cookies, baked goods. It's all like, I love croissant, don't get me wrong, but I don't have it every day like I used to, because I know that it will spike my glucose, spike my insulin, and it will create inflammation. And so we don't want really too much glucose and insulin floating in our blood, because this excess of glucose can be stored as a fat, and this abdominal fat. That's why it's so dangerous. And what I told you 5 minutes ago about abdominal fat, that it really creates inflammation. These fat cells are like really, they are starving. They want that you eat more. And then because they create this cascade of chemicals, of compounds that really creates inflammation. So insulin resistance is something that if you have tendency, if you think that if you are on diet all your life, just stop it, because diet don't work. I talked about it yesterday, like you have to have this, if you have, you know, because it's not sustainable. This diet, like I love Whole30, but it's like 1 month, and then you don't do what? Like it's finished, and then what? Like, so it's something that you have to really create that it will be sustainable. And that's why I want to call it like a healing lifestyle. It's something that will be your second nature. And that's why you have to put intention and ask yourself, like, why I'm doing this? I'm doing it because I want to be nice in bikini, or because your value is health. And if your value is health, and you want to be there as long as you can, healthy when you age, because, you know, like this is basically why we're doing all that. We want to be healthy, right? You don't want to have this painful face and red face. And so if you switch your values to say, okay, well, because if you will become healthy, your weight will you will have healthy weight at some point. This is a side effect of living healthy life, because you will create the way that your body fits the best. So please, if you are on a diet, stop it. It doesn't work. Calorie counting doesn't work. It can work for someone who is athlete, who is really doing endurance, who is pregnant. That works. Yes, we have to count calories, but otherwise, if you are like me, you know, a woman in the middle age, and just like I have sweet tooth as well, but we have to start counting goodness instead of calories. And I will talk about more about tomorrow, because we have to feed the gut bugs. If we feed good food, gut bugs, they will do everything for us, and they will as well help us to really calm down the inflammation. And so with this insulin resistance, what is really tricky is that it's vicious cycles. So the insulin resistance can influence as well as emotionally. So when we are having these cravings, so we eat more, and then we can as well have a stress because we ate, and then we feel whatever, guilty, shame, and I don't know what, and then we will create fatigue afterwards. We have the dip down, and then again hunger and cravings, and we go like this, on and on and on. And this really will not help us to really create better kind of routines. We will just overeat, and we will have cravings for fatty food and sugary food. That's what it is. Some people, they love to snack chips. Some people like to snack donut, like, you know, but it's at the end it is the same. This is our genetics differences, but at the end is basically the same thing. It's just different food that we crave. So little reminder that whatever you decide to do today, stop dieting. Diet don't work. Yes, we need to eat good food, but it's something that it must come from inside out. You know, that you want to be healthier. So you make these choices, and really, honestly, your health, oh, sorry, something is here. One of the best ways how to reduce inflammation really lies in your refrigerator. And that's why I prepare for you this food. Like, this is so cheap. People saying like it's expensive to eat healthy. It can be, yes, it can be if you buy all the nuts and all these seeds, and that's what I'm buying. I say, oh my gosh, I'll leave a paycheck here. But then as well, this food, they are affordable, and anybody can do that, you know. And this can be so many dishes you can do from the cabbage, and especially purple cabbage is different to white cabbage. In this workshop, I'm not talking about rainbow of vegetables, how important it is, and how important, maybe I can touch it about tomorrow, but purple is a color that we eat less often. We eat not enough green, but purple we really don't eat much. And so if you see any vegetable that is purple, just grab it and try to cook something from it. What I love, you can eat it either cooked or raw. If you can have as well, like you know, sauerkraut from it, which is really good. You might say, well, I have rosacea and I cannot have fermented food. Yes, in the beginning it might trigger, because if you have SIBO, you will have you will be like me and the beer. You will you will think that you have brewery in your stomach. But if you are trying fermented food like kombucha or kimchi or kefir, try just 1 spoon. That's it, 1 spoon. Because, you know, people ask me always, is it probiotic good to have? You know, supplements. Probiotics are good if you feed the bacteria. If you don't feed the bacteria, the probiotics that you want, that live in your gut, they will just they will go out again, and it's just expensive to experience this, you know, buying the probiotics. And so you have to feed them, and what they like is fiber. That's why this is the reason why we need to eat vegetables. Not only that it contains minerals and vitamins and all these phytochemicals, the polyphenols, but also because it contains the fiber that we need to feed the good gut bugs. And this is new science. This is just a few years, because when we eat this fiber in vegetables, we don't we do nothing with it. It will just go out with the bowel movement. But when it comes to the gut, there are these good gut bugs waiting for the fiber, and they chew the fiber, and they create metabolites. And these metabolites will then go to the bloodstream and either create inflammation or they will be anti-inflammatory, depending on what gut bugs you have in your gut. And so if you eat this food, you will create gut bugs that will create inflammation. If you eat this food, any vegetables, I don't want to be biased, like promoting cabbage, but even celery. I know celery juice is very popular. You can have it celery juice, but it's not the answer. This will, if you eat this and then you start with celery juice, of course you feel better, because celery is the vegetables, and it's really, this is good type of vegetables. Basically, I don't know if many people, they don't know that basically this is the vegetable, like the whole. This is the celery stalk and this is the celeriac. And the celeriac, it's a really ugly looking vegetable, but it's fantastic because the gut bugs will, this is really good fiber for the gut bacteria. So you just peel it and you will chop it, and you can have like fries from the celeriac, or you can chop always take the skin off. You can cut it in small pieces and add it in the broth that you make, or some soup. You can as well make that I was doing last weekend. We have a guest and I did some lamb chops and I did celeriac puree, and it was delicious. So it's so much you can do from this. It's really good vegetable, and it will help you to grow the good bacteria. Another one that is, it's really important, and sorry, it's in plastic, but it's olives. Any colors of olives. It's something, if you don't like olives, try to have one. If obviously if you have allergy or something, don't eat it, but try to use olives and try to enjoy it, because olive oil and olive, someone who is on ketogenic diet, that's why I ask, some of you ask me about ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet is very hard to manage, to be on it a long time, because it's hard. You have to really, the carbs consumption is so low that like you ended up eating only like vegetables, not all of them, and a lot of fat, which is the best to eat olive oil and olives, because if you have fat like from the bacon, this is not good ketogenic diet. They call it dirty keto. We don't want that. We want a keto, being keto from olive oil, and not from these as well saturated fats, like a lot of beef. Some people as well, again, it's so personalized that I wish I don't need to ever kill animal to be nourished. I wish that, but I tried and I just started losing all my muscles. So I need this protein from unfortunately or fortunately from meat. But again, we can as well, this is like, we live on this planet Earth, and this is what my parents always did. We had chicken in the garden, and this is what we ate all winter. We just always went once every 2 weeks, we will kill the chicken, because we need to eat some food, because in the winter no vegetables grows in the garden. So you can become vegan as well, which is as well option for some of you that are from the southern climates, when you because as well, I will talk about tomorrow, but I just want to quickly tell you that we inherit our gut microbiome from our mother. So the best way, if you ask me what should I eat, have a look what your grandma ate. That's the best for you. This is the recipe for your success. Don't look what your neighbor's eating or who is on social media. Look what your ancestor ate, and this will really will be the best option and best answer for you. So all these foods, like we as well demonize lectins. Yes, lectins is a problem. Like this is a zucchini and it's in this it's in the skin, and some of you might react to lectins, but the thing is that it's a fine tuning with all these sort of things. And I know that some of you already asked me if you want to join the program. I will not talk about it until the last day, but yes, if some of you already joined, thank you. But when we start, we go on elimination diet, and this is when you find out what is really good for you and what not. So from this food, just to show you as well, this, it's really easy to, you can have it raw or cooked. And I love the coleslaw. You just chop it on a small piece or grain it, and then you have it with a carrot. And if it's too much, the raw food, it can be too much, because when we're healing the gut, the best is to have it cooked, overcooked, that the body has no job to basically metabolize it. That's the best way. There is one doctor called Natasha Campbell, and she is proponent from DASH diet. No DASH, no DASH, it's different one. What is it? GAPS, sorry, GAPS. GAPS diet, and she's here in the UK, and she basically healed people just with chicken soup, chicken broth. That's option as well. I have that. I have myself. I have sometimes weeks when I only do that. But you can argue, well, if I'm histamine intolerant, yeah, you have to know how to cook the chicken soup, and then you can have it without problems. So I have a few minutes left. I just want to tell you that I have so many bullet points here. I will not make it. But anyway, I just want to tell you that the best way to really to look what your ancestor ate, this is your best diet. It will be something, if you're Japanese, you're best off to having Japanese diet. If you're from Thailand, it's best to have a Thai food, even you live in US. This is the problem when we change. And you know, it's problem with the with many nations, like you know, Italians, when they move to US, and they can basically take off the culture of Italy, which is really rich in vegetables, is a Mediterranean diet, and they start eating the fast food. It didn't work, and of course the body was suffering from it. So it's something really the Mediterranean diet is most researched one, and it's a good one. So it's rich in olives and all these vegetables that I show you here, this one. And really stay away from the cookies, stay away from anything that will cause inflammation, like baked goods and all these things. Last thing I want to mention is that you can have nuts and seeds, but you have to soak them. I will talk more about nuts and seeds later on, but it can be really problematic for someone who has some intolerance to almonds or sensitivity. But if you soak them, it's a completely different game. I will talk about it when I will talk about gut health. So we can really really influence the inflammation in the body. So we can, whatever we eat. You ask me about oats. Maybe oats are good for you. You ask me about the rice. Maybe rice is good for you. I really can't tell you from my view here, not knowing anything about you. But I can tell you, for some people, rice can be not trigger, but can be not really good idea. And for some people, because it spikes the blood sugar, and I told you, when it spikes the blood sugar, it will create inflammation. And then when we have inflammation in the body, everything goes wrong. And but if your ancestor ate a lot of rice, you will be equipped with a gut microbiome that will be able to handle it in the way that will be good for you. So I hope that will be helpful, this kind of general guidelines, because it's so many, you know, conflicting information on social media. It's like I can't watch it anymore, because like, okay, vitamin D, yes, but yes or no, you have to test. If you want to have some supplements or something, you have to test. Like, I never took supplements in my life, and until I took few years ago, or several years ago, I took vitamin D test, and I was like suboptimal. I said, what? I'm eating well? No, it was not well enough to have optimal D levels. So now, from now on, I eat vitamin D. And actually, this is something that I really think that you should test, and you will find out if you are really deficient or not, because I think 70% of people are still deficient. We could see it as well before COVID, but anyway, so this was kind of really quick overview what is inflammation and how we can really improve it. The big driver is food, the food and nutrition, because we are eating 5 times a day, and that's why we can either hurt or heal our body. Always think that, hurt or heal. And so I hope this was helpful. I will now wait.